Welcome to Real Estate Exposed, helping people in San Diego buy, sell, and refinance their biggest investment, delivering you timely truths, exposing important issues, and helping you get into the right home. Here are your hosts, real estate expert Daniel Beer, top-ranked professional by sales volume at one of San Diego's largest brokerages, and his mortgage partner, Todd Pianin, with over $2 billion in funded loans.
Good morning.
It's a beautiful Sunday today, isn't it, Dan?
And we're in San Diego County. Yes, it is. It's awesome. The Pope is in the house.
He is in the house. Did you see, like, the new iPhone sales? Apple had to send out an email to all the people who pre-ordered for New York and Philadelphia, and so they may be delayed because the Pope is going to be in town. So those people who got up at 12:01 a.m. on the 12th to pre-order their phone in New York and in Philadelphia may not get their phones on. May not have gotten their phones on Friday.
Do you know how badly I feel for these people who stand in line at 12:01 a.m. and aren't going to get their phones because of the Pope?
Hey, you probably feel
I pretty much don't give a crap.
I know. You don't care about, because you're an Android user, not an iPhone user. So I understand. But we're going to get you switched over. I mean, me and Brian and I keep pushing you very hard, so we think that it's going to happen one way or another.
Look, it's actually really cool. The Pope's in town for the first time in the Pope hasn't visited in several years. Right. I don't have the figure in front of me, but I remember hearing it was a long time coming before the Pope was here.
The new Pope.
Or since the Pope was here. The new Pope. It's his first visit, I believe.
Correct.
And it's a big event. I mean, I caught some of it on TV. The festivities, just really, it's a big, meaningful time. There's a lot of people, of course, that are followers. That it's a meaningful time for them. So it's wonderful that they have him in the country here on our home soil.
Right.
And as somebody myself that I've actually been to the Vatican and seen the Pope in person, come out of his balcony and lead a service, I can tell you the emotion that runs through for certain people, and I wasn't one of them, but I was certainly there appreciating the just appreciating everything around me. Whenever you see that kind of passion among people, and and I was a part of that. So
I didn't know you did that.
I was there at the Vatican, and
that's a little Dan Beer trivia right there. Got to keep that in the back of the hat. You
know what? It was a wonderful, really, really wonderful thing to be a part of and to witness. And so I'm happy for all of you that are believers or followers and have the Pope in town. That's awesome. I hope you enjoy it.
And he spoke in front of Congress. So he did a really good job speaking in front of Congress. I mean, Netanyahu spoke in front of Congress too, and the reception, I think, for the Pope was a little bit better than the reception that Netanyahu got.
Well, with this president in office, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, so I was pretty, I was just nice to see some respect. That's what I think. The other thing that was really big, Dan, did you watch the CNN GOP debate?
I did not.
You did not.
But enlighten me and us.
So, everyone was concerned because, Trump was, basically the focus of the whole debate, had the most screen time. But, out of nowhere, who was not going to be in the debate at all, was Carly Fiorina. She came out on top of she came out on top. They're saying she won the debate. They're also saying that, that now she's third in the rankings behind Ben Carson and also the Donald. His numbers, they thought, were going to get softer after the debate, and it didn't. His numbers actually, I think, went up a little bit or held the same. So, again, it's been really a lot of talk about how outsiders are sort of, running the conversation now through this whole political debate.
I'm glad you bring up Fiorina, because there you have somebody who, like Trump, is an outsider as far as, an outsider to Washington. Right. She's certainly not a Washington insider.
Right.
She has, while she's been involved with politics in her new life, she definitely has made her fame as being CEO of Hewlett Packard.
Right.
So you have somebody like this who's bright, who's respectful, who's presidential. And I love seeing her do well. The lady's bright.
Yep.
I personally really like her. I am not going to claim I know everything about her platform or what she stands for, but the snippets that I've been able to catch with her on TV and hearing her just simply, in front of a crowd, and the way she works through a problem and the way she handles attacks, sometimes from Mr. Trump.
Right.
I'm excited to see more of her.
No, she did a really good job, and I was super impressed. The other big news this week for all you Charger fans, LA came out and said they're only going to support one football team, Dan.
Yeah, so if you're selling your home already and moving to LA because of the Chargers moving, you might want to slow down. But if you are selling, of course, you'll want to give me a phone call. And because you are listening to Real Estate Exposed, we're on News Radio 600 KOGO. Todd, what did they say? It looks like LA is only interested in one team. Is that right?
That's right. Because the rumor was before they were going to have two teams, right? So the Raiders and possibly the Chargers were going to end up moving to LA and then kind of do like a Clippers-Lakers thing. And it came out in the news that basically LA is saying, no, we only want one football team. So that could be really, really good for our Charger fans. I mean, I would be super excited if the Chargers stay in San Diego and we get a new stadium.
That's awesome. I mean, again, if we did have this new stadium, think about how we have one of the best downtowns in the country.
Agreed.
There is not, arguably, possibly not. I mean, look, New York City aside, it's just a totally different animal.
Yeah.
Chicago possibly.
In San Francisco.
In San Francisco is a different animal. Right. I mean, that's just a different city. That's a European city.
Right.
Okay. But when you're looking at what are the top 5 downtowns across our country, San Diego is certainly part of that conversation and probably in it.
I would agree.
I mean, we're probably in that top 5. We're probably in the top 4, top 3.
We got the baseball team. We got great restaurants. We got good shopping. We got great nightlife. I mean, I think it's a great place to be.
But where did that all come from? Now, we might have gotten to where we are eventually, but that Padres Stadium absolutely accelerated things, brought in industry, brought in jobs, absolutely revitalized everything. The hotel industry that we have, which is booming. I mean, our occupancy rate is at the tops of anywhere in the country.
I didn't know that.
And it is absolutely, we were accelerated 10 years, 15, 20 years into the future by that Padres Stadium.
Right.
You bring in something like the San Diego Chargers and you have a new redevelopment zone, whether it happens downtown, which I hope it does, but even if they redevelop that Mission Valley site, which probably is more likely, and you're going to see more jobs, more tax revenue, and a happier city. See, this is the part that we sometimes miss. If you remove things like having all of these wonderful things that we have in San Diego, including the Chargers, something that brings the city together, something that it doesn't matter if you grew up in Chula Vista or in Oceanside or anywhere in between, we're there together doing something as a city, as a county, as a group of people united for one thing.
Right.
And that, while I might not be able to put that on a balance sheet for you, that has a tremendous effect on civil just happiness. Okay, it's a reason you might want to be in a particular city. It's a reason you might want to stay in a particular city. It's a reason to pay the type of, let's face it, we have tremendous real estate prices here. We get taxed like no other in California,
right?
And so you need these. You need
this other stuff.
The Legolands and the SeaWorlds and the stadiums and the zoo, the wild animal parks. You need these things in order to make it make sense to pay the luxury tax of living in San Diego County.
I can't agree with you more. I mean, one of the things also I want to talk about real quick was what a great show last week with Josh Altman. That was really, really cool to have Josh Altman on for $1 Million Listing. He only gave us a short period of time, and he talked to us after the show and said that when he had more time after he was done filming the season, he'd be back on. So,
and we hope he is, because it was a little bit rushed. It was awesome having him on, though. What are the quick takeaways you have from having Josh Altman, $1 Million Listing, on our show here this past week?
The biggest takeaway?
Yeah, what is that?
Is to go to your seller seminar.
The seller seminar is it's what we get the most excited about all year long. Yeah. We have the second edition of the home selling workshops coming up in October 19th, 20th, and 21st. Different locations around the county.
We can now announce those locations.
In different times as well. So you want to get your tickets. This is the first place. We did it last week for the first time, and a number of seats are already taken. Right here with you is the first place that we put our tickets out there. Starting about 10 days from now, we are going to be everywhere and anywhere where those tickets are getting gobbled up like they did last time.
Right.
So if you want your free tickets to the home selling workshop, 800-646-4977 is the number to call and reserve your tickets. We'll mail them right out to you. You're going to learn a number of things that we'll go into greater detail here coming out of the break. But most importantly, you're going to learn how to create a strategic advantage for you that no other seller that you're competing with has, because we're going to take very systematic steps that, the likes of George Chamberlain have endorsed.
And Josh pretty much endorsed it too.
Josh Altman, $1 million listing, right? These are the steps where we can create a systematic, strategic advantage for you when selling your home. We're going to lay it all out there, and it's not about selling with us or selling with anyone else. You can apply these principles on your own or with your preferred agent, but come and learn them, because this is what we get. I mean, you can hear it. This is what we get really pumped up for.
Well, I'm super excited about it.
800-646-4977. Just call in. We'll send you your free tickets. We'll also enter you into the drawing for a free staging package. And that phone number is 800-646-4977. Different locations and times around the county coming up at the end of October. You won't want to miss that. Coming up next, we'll give you more detail on that. Plus, you're going to want to hear about how to actually create that advantage for the sale of your home that no other seller is able to enjoy. How do we approach that? We'll give you a window into that. We'll be right back. So we're back with you, Real Estate Exposed, News Radio 600 KOGO. I'm with Todd Pianin, Home Street Bank, and I'm Daniel Beer of Windermere Homes and Estates, the Daniel Beer Group. You can look both of us up on the internet, on Facebook. etc.
Yep, all over the place.
Todd and I are discussing here during the break something that Josh, go ahead.
The one thing that you and I both disagree about that Josh liked, which was using your neighborhood agent.
Yeah. By the way, that's not automatically the wrong answer.
Right.
You might want to.
Right.
But there's more to it than just is he the perceived neighborhood expert. So Josh mentioned, make sure you talk to the neighborhood expert. Well, what if the neighborhood expert has actually only sold 6 or 7 or 10 homes all year long, and your alternative has sold 90? What if your neighborhood expert is not even really? I mean, why is he the neighborhood expert? Why do you think he's the neighborhood expert? Is it because you get a bunch of their mailers?
And their signs are in people's lawns.
And, do they appear busy? Is it because, why? Is it because you saw an advertisement that they were the number one agent in your subdivision? That might mean they only sold 2 homes.
Right.
Because no one else has sold more than 1.
Right.
Okay? So you want to really, when you're talking about selecting your listing agent, you really need to qualify who this person is and ask for proof. So what does your track record look like?
So how do you do that, Dan? Because you don't want to insult somebody. You invite them into your home. You think that they're the neighborhood expert. You think that they're the ones who are selling your house. I mean, how do you qualify who should list your house?
Well, wait a second. We don't want to insult somebody. So if somebody is insulted by being asked to show that they know what they're doing, then they deserve to be insulted. And you deserve not to be insulted by signing your asset, your high-valued, multi-$100,000, if not $1 million asset, depending on where you live and what you own here in San Diego County. Well, to me, that's insulting. So if you politely ask somebody to show you their track record, and I mean show it to you, pull up the MLS and actually show you, here's what I have listed, here's what I have sold this year so far, here's what I have in escrow. Are you actually look at it?
Are you insulted if people ask you to do that?
I love when somebody asks me to do that. In fact, I volunteer it. You really want to see. You need to know where the advice you're getting from your agent is coming from. How much experience is behind it? Think about this. What does it actually mean to be selling a home, right? So how much should you trust your listing agent? Because let's face it, there are some big decisions being made. You have to feel comfortable enough with your agent that they'll be able to accomplish a number of things, including, will they be able to sell your largest, possibly what's your largest family-owned asset?
Right.
So can they do that? Can they set the correct market value on that asset? Or the way I prefer to think about it is, can they help you select the right strategic pricing, position?
Your virtual shelf space that you talk about in the seller seminar.
Yeah, can they help you identify where to position yourself? What is the right price strategy to be able to create a market advantage over the alternatives? Can they do that for you? Can they help you set a time schedule for the liquidation of the asset? So can you, one of the biggest fears for most home sellers we've realized over the years working with so many people is that there's just a lot of unknowns. And in fact, we're sometimes guilty of that in the industry, Todd. Like we talk so much about the first-time home buyer.
Right.
And sometimes we don't realize that accomplished person that we're, meeting with, maybe they've been in a steady job for 20 years, they've owned a home, they have some gray hair on their head.
Right.
And we don't treat them the way we treat a first-time home buyer. But the reality is they might be a first-time home seller. Or they might be a second-time home seller. And selling 2 homes over 20 years doesn't necessarily make you, completely clear on everything and anything there is to do on the sale of your home.
No, I mean, agreed. I mean, you actually, I mean, you bring up a good point because you personally have 6 units that you're selling, I think, in North Park.
Oh, you're talking about in Hillcrest. We have
Hillcrest.
6 townhomes in development that we're selling the entire thing.
And so one of the clients that you sent us, older gentleman, professor, was, I was his first house he was buying, right? So we were talking to him as if he had bought multiple homes before and didn't realize that this was actually his first home that he was buying. And and he's been around, he's his mid 40s or something like that. And so I get it too, is that you got to make sure the seller you're talking to when you're selling a home, you don't realize this could have been the first house they bought, and this could be the first house that they've sold, and they don't know the right questions to ask.
So we really need to eliminate the unknowns. Right. So can your agent that you're choosing do that? Look, if you're choosing your best friend, your cousin, your uncle, and maybe they've sold a home or two, can they help you walk through all of these steps? If you were choosing the neighborhood expert, and they are officially number 1 in the neighborhood because, hey, they sold 3 homes in the neighborhood, but they've only sold 7 homes all year. Is that person in a greater position to help you versus somebody that maybe has sold 90 homes this year? Because I'll tell you something, and take this to the bank. There is not, and you are kidding yourself if you believe this, there is not a magic marketing process of some sort that works everywhere for that agent that sold 90 homes and just won't work in your special neighborhood.
True. We find that out at the seller seminar.
I mean, or if you look at it the other way around, if you believe there's some kind of magic formula that only works in your neighborhood,
right,
and doesn't work everywhere else, so that person that's coming to your table with 90 home sales, with 100 home sales for the year, and we're going to lean toward neighborhood expert because, yes, he sold 2 or 3 within my gated community or in my subdivision, though he's only sold 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 all year long. You want to think about who the true expert is, and are we being a little bit, are we making a little bit more out of what we are and what we have, as we tend to do as human beings, than it deserves? And what I mean by that is, something I remind ourselves of all the time. We are not, the world doesn't revolve around us. We're not so special that basic business principles and processes and proven systems could work everywhere, but not for us because our neighborhood's special. Guess what?
The neighborhood specialist, I hate to say it, Dan, the neighborhood specialist could also be the discount broker, right? You know what I mean? And so he may have sold 2 or 3 homes, but
just qualify the information.
Exactly. I mean, that's all I can say is that, I mean, you look at people and people make decisions based on dollars. And one of the things I would make a decision on when I have picked you and used you to do my deal is because you deserve, you get the property sold. And
it is actually, to much extent, it is about dollars. But who has a proven systematic process that's been applied time and time and time and time again across all neighborhoods, so that we know that what they're doing actually works as a system, rather than, just claiming, hey, I'm the neighborhood expert because I sent off some mailers. We're going to jump into so much that you're going to be able to directly apply at our home selling workshops. We can't wait to see you. It's our favorite thing we do, primarily because we actually get to meet you in person and spend time together. So let us mail you out your tickets. The number's 800-646-4977. 800-646-4977. And we're going to help you learn how to net upwards of $62,400 more profit on the sale of your home. and how to systematically have it sold within 96 hours of going on the market and for top dollar.
Can't wait for
You're
that.
listening to Real Estate Exposed, News Radio 600 KOGO. Coming up next, we're going to dive deeper into one of the biggest secrets in home selling. Interest rates are the talk of the world and have been for some time.
They have been, Dan. And as you know, Janet Yellen spoke last week. We finally got out of her if she was going to raise rates in September. And as I predicted, what did I predict? What was she not going to do?
Nothing. You predicted she would do nothing.
And she did nothing. I mean, so basically,
this man's a genius. You know what?
My crystal ball came true, and I actually predicted correctly.
I don't know what you're doing wasting your time here, Todd, because you should be somewhere on Capitol Hill running things.
No, I think I should be hanging out with George. Right, George Chamberlain, him and I could do it. We should just do an economic show together.
Well, he and I are going to have lunch later on today, which is going to be nice.
So then you should talk to him and see if he wants me to be his co-host.
I'll let him know. I'll try to talk you in.
Talk me up. So the good news for everybody out there is that she didn't raise interest rates, which means for home buyers out there that we're going to see interest rates remain low for the next, I would say, probably next for sure through the fall. She did allude to, and I would use the word allude, that she may increase interest rates in December, which would be the next time that she could do that. I personally don't believe that she's going to raise interest rates in December, but she may. I mean, we've been at zero for a very long time, and we've seen low interest rates, happen for a very long period of time. And it's all really going to depend upon the economic data that keeps coming out. I mean, I think that a lot of people are calling for a major correction in the stock market. And if we see a major correction in the stock market, you're going to see interest rates drop again. So, I mean, I think that, the good news for all you out there trying to buy and sell your homes is that interest rates are still at all-time lows. And I would say to you that, some things that people don't look at, Dan, when they're out there in the world, trying to figure out what loan to get, is they don't look. Everyone thinks 30-year fixed, 30-year fixed, 30-year fixed. I have to have a 30-year fixed. Yes, 30-year fixed rate mortgages are extremely low right now. But did you know, Dan, that most people stay in their home or their loan for 3 to 5 years?
So, yes, and I actually did know that. And that's one of the reasons that I myself have a 10-year interest only.
Right.
Now, the interest-only portion of it, I got it at a time when it was more available than it is today.
Right,
so,
it's not available as much.
But the point is I have a 10-year variable rate.
Right.
Because
I
know...
No, it's not variable. It's fixed for 10.
Fixed for 10, variable thereafter.
A variable, right.
And I know that I'll never get to that. I'll never see the day because I won't own the house that I currently own at that time.
Correct.
So, Todd, given what happened with interest rates or with the meeting, what Yellen announced, what she didn't announce, what effect have you seen that have on the mortgage markets? And if somebody calls you at Home Street Bank today, what does that lending environment look like as a result?
Well, we're blowing their minds because interest rates are so low. And we're also blowing their minds because what we're not doing is we're not just selling the 30-year fixed. We're giving them other options. And, we consult with them. We don't sit down with them, Dan, and just say, we don't look at ourselves as a commodity. We look at them as a great whole, big picture situation because we know that they're not going to be in their home or their loan for more than 3 to 5 years. It's just not going to happen. So, we like to talk to them about the short-term fixed rate loans, the 5-year, 7-year, 10-year rates, because you can get those in the mid threes, mid to low threes. We talked to him about the 30-year fixed rate loans. We talked to him how much easier it is to get a loan now. I mean, since I've been to Home Street Bank, it's been so much easier for our clients to get loans, and our clients are getting the best interest rates out there that I've ever seen, in the marketplace. I mean, I have to tell you, I don't want to toot my own horn right here, but we have not lost a deal to interest rate right now. We've actually picked up deals and we've stolen deals from big banks, credit unions, even though we are a big bank. I mean, it's pretty exciting for me. I'm really pumped up because in the past, I think that you and I have had dialogue around the interest rates and where my interest rates were compared to everybody else. And it's been unbelievable. And the whole experience has been just a really, really good experience.
Look, there might be somebody listening right now that's thinking about either buying a home, wants to start the planning process, or is thinking about refinancing. Why don't you actually just give out a personal number so that they're able to reach you if they want to figure out what do these great rates look like or what do the different programs look like that are available to them through Home Street, which is honestly, guys, Home Street is just the coolest damn bank that I have seen in my time in real estate. Okay, I've been doing this for 10 years, And we've just never interacted with a bank that's this understanding of the human, just that we're all human beings out there trying to, with different situations. And as long as we can make sense of what is what, you're going to get your loan.
It's old school banking, Dan. I mean,
it's just really it's cool, man. It is very cool. Give out a personal phone number if somebody wants to reach you directly to talk loans. Yeah,
Monday morning, 858-259-4014. You can ask for myself or Taisha Lindsay, my partner. Again, it's 858-259-4014, or you can go to Home Street Bank /T Pianin, P as in Peter, IANIN. And I look forward to just, having a conversation with you and telling you all the things that we can do. I'm super excited about it.
So, one of the things, though, about interest rates and the way that, they've stayed low, Yellen again did nothing. So the one thing I worry about for you, the home buyer, the home seller, if you and I are sitting down together, the one thing I worry about is that because we keep kicking this can down the road of, just interest rate, they're going to raise the rate, but when? Will it be this meeting? No. Maybe the next one, maybe the next one. It's going to happen. But what starts to happen is that an environment where we believe almost like it's never going to happen starts to be created.
Correct.
And so you don't want to fall asleep at the wheel, look back on this a number of years from now and say, oh my God, I actually was alive and breathing during that time. And I did nothing.
And I didn't buy.
I didn't buy. I didn't sell what I was in, which I knew would be only temporary. I knew I only had 1 or 2 years left in that particular home.
Right.
And I didn't take advantage of the gigantic buyer pool given the low interest rates.
Right.
I didn't take advantage of that giant buyer pool so that I could sell my home at an excellent value and then shift myself into a long-term, into my long-term living situation where I would be able to lock in that very same low rate. And so right now, as a home seller, you're able to take advantage of both sides of the coin. And it's a little bit scary to me because to some extent, it's kind of like when the market was just rising like crazy, 2003, 2004, 2005. We thought it couldn't go the other way anymore.
Exactly. We kept saying, values are not going down. It's not happening.
We thought it couldn't happen.
Right.
And then, by the way, then of course it happens. And now you're in 2009, 2010, 2011. We think they can never go up again.
Right.
We think values can never again rise.
Right.
Well, what happened? What happened is that people that took advantage of the moment made a truckload of money.
Correct.
A truckload of money.
Correct.
And right now is another moment to take advantage of. The moment to take advantage of is that you have a gigantic buyer pool because of these lower interest rates, and you're able to decide, what does my long-term living situation look like? Where am I going to be in 10 years? Forget today. Because whether, you might be comfortable for the next year or 2 or 3, but is that going to fit your long-term plan? This is the moment to take advantage of getting yourself into your long-term plan because you can sell to that giant buyer pool, but you could take advantage of that incredibly low rate that you're going to kick yourself for not having actually.
Well, actually, you can buy more of a house. I mean, I've talked to a couple of your clients, Dan, that didn't realize with interest rates so low what their payment was going to be. That that you've listed their homes, and then they can buy that much more.
And they turn around and buy, and it's just don't be short-sighted. That's the only thing. Don't be short-sighted. Get yourself into that long-term living situation with today's rate. Because we won't be able to say this soon. I don't know if soon is next quarter or the following. I just don't know. I'm going to stop speculating on it, but I do know it's going to happen.
It's going to happen for sure.
Okay. So you're listening to Real Estate Exposed. The home selling workshops are coming. And in the next segment, we're going to give you a feel for exactly the type of thing you're going to learn during the home selling workshops that we're holding at the end of October. Todd Pianin, Home Street Bank, they will be there. Brian Olenek of Fidelity, National Title, one of the regional vice presidents of the entire company, a Fortune 400 company, will be there. I will be there with you in person, and we can't wait to send you out your tickets. You're listening to News Radio 600 KOGO. This is Real Estate Exposed. For no other reason to do this show here, you're listening to Real Estate Exposed. Todd Pian and Home Street Bank, myself, Daniel Beer, the Daniel Beer Group. But if for no other reason I'll just do this show for the rest of my life is because of the man in the booth, our producer, Miguel, Mikey, the man.
He is the man. I love Mikey. Mikey keeps us on track. He does a great job.
Can we get you to say hello to the audience? No, he's just shaking his head.
He's
just
shy.
Shaking his head. He says no.
He doesn't want us to pay him a talent fee, I think, is the issue.
So you're listening to Real Estate Exposed. We're on News Radio 600 KOGO and just super jazzed about the most.
Well, let me lead this in here.
Whoa.
Because let me take a little control, because I want to know as a consumer why the heck I need to spend an hour and 10 minutes with you at one of these seller seminars. I mean, what's so special about these seller seminars, Dan, that, we get all excited about? We love them. Since we've been doing them, we're having a great time. We're learning more and more what the consumer needs, and the information they're getting. But I mean,
it's amazing who's coming out for them.
I know.
Everybody and anybody. I know. Blue collar, attorneys, doctors, 9-to-5 people, entrepreneurs, everybody and anybody. It's amazing. What's got me going just to keep doing these is, the reason we're bringing these back are the comments, the conversations after the workshops, what people say. It's really fulfilling. It's wonderful. So why do you want to be there?
Well, the best comment I heard was by multiple people is how this guy sells homes I've never heard of before. And I can say that with a straight face. How this guy is doing business, I've never heard of anybody doing it the way you're doing it.
Look, when you come and attend our workshop, you're going to learn exactly how to create a negotiating advantage for you as a seller over the rest of the competition. Doing things that no other seller's doing, just simply approaching it from there's a very clear logic to how we can take a home buyer from having identified your home, learning about your home, all the way down the sales funnel to how they actually view your home, what it looks like, how they get there, who they're there with, and what that environment feels like to them. Okay? So just to give you we'll call it a teaser, but to give you a sense for what you're going to learn at the home selling workshops, it starts right here.
Tease us, Dan. Tease us.
Well, look. It starts. That was really, really weird. That was really weird. Okay. So, in my opinion, the home selling process is just completely broken, and it starts just from the fundamental, just base that we've accepted as a society on how a home is going to be sold. And this is only really the resale market, because the new home builders, they know what they're doing and they have it down and they're doing it differently. But what we do in resale, I mean, let's face it, right? We're taking photos of the home, slapping them online, and then holding individual private viewings of your home. If you've ever sold your home and, said, hey, marketplace, here's my $500,000 house that I have spent so much time, energy, attention, detail, love, sweat on, and, well, we just had somebody come out, shoot some cell phone pictures of it. It's now online. Go ahead, help yourself. Come view it whenever you want.
The new iPhone's got a better camera, by the way.
It better. Given how many real estate agents are using iPhones for real estate pictures, it better have a fabulous camera. So the process is broken right off the bat, and I want to focus in on, imagine yourself as that buyer, and maybe you've been that buyer, where you walk into a home all by yourself to buy, to look at it and decide if that's going to be the home for you. First off, why in the heck are you there alone? Why hasn't the seller orchestrated an event, an environment?
I mean, the selling agent.
It is the selling agent, right?
Right.
Why hasn't the listing agent orchestrated an environment where you're not there alone, but rather you're there with others, with other buyers to compete for that home? Because what happens, think about this. Picture yourself in a home. You're there to buy it. You wanted to see the home at 1 o'clock on whatever day, Tuesday. So you show up 1 o'clock on Tuesday. You look at the house. You like the house. You decide you want to buy it. Well, what is the only possible logical thought you're able to have in that moment as a home buyer?
I want to take down the seller.
it's you versus the seller.
Yep.
It's you versus seller. What's the best price I can get? What's the best deal?
How can I beat him down? I want to beat him down.
Look, and it might not be as malicious, right? We're having fun with it.
Right.
But at the end of the day, that home buyer's in your home alone. They're there by themselves. So they're left with no other option once they've decided to buy but to shift their attention to you, the seller.
Right.
Well, that is totally broken. Okay, first, nothing is sold that way. Cars aren't sold that way. They're not sold in privacy. Artwork is sold at auction. Everything is sold in competitive environments. But us genius real estate agents and our minimal education that it takes to get licensed, we decide to do it.
I keep bringing up the iPhone. I mean, even the iPhone. I wake up at 12:01 a.m.
Yeah, exactly. They know what they're doing. And Todd, you're a well-to-do, smart guy, and you're there to compete with everybody, hoping you're going to be the buyer.
Right.
And you'd probably pay more than sticker price if they would just give you one.
Exactly.
Well, we're going to show you at the home selling workshops how to turn that environment completely around. And rather than inviting people into your home privately to compete with you, why not orchestrate an event where we find the entire marketplace for your home and then funnel them into the house together strategically to compete with each other. This is the type of thing you're going to learn. You're going to learn how to net upwards of $62,400 more on the sale of your home in profit. You're going to learn how to sell the home within 96 hours of going on the market and for top dollar. Okay, we're going to show you how to create a highly competitive environment for the home and actually have buyers fighting for it. There's so much more, and we need you to attend for the sake of, just for the sake of.
They got to learn. It's for knowledge.
For the sake of your pocketbook.
Exactly, knowledge.
Look, we have free tickets for you. Come out, meet us. We're going to present. This is actionable information you can take home and use as you want. 800-646-4977. 800-646-4977. Come and meet with us, or attend the workshop, and learn how to go beyond the comps. Because if I hear another real estate agent talking about the comps, come on, man, there's a lot more to it.
There is a lot more.
And you're going to learn it at the workshop.
I'm Todd Pianin from Home Street Bank, a member of the FDIC, equal housing lender, NMLS ID number 304014, and sign up for the workshops.
I'm Daniel Beer, the Daniel Beer Group. The number for your free tickets for the workshop is 800-646-4977. Can't wait to see you.